Hi, my name is Mike, and I made this video because I believe I have the solution to image number 3 in Byron Preiss's treasure hunt book, The Secret. I'm convinced the Casque image 3 is buried in Niagara Falls, New York, specifically Luna Island, Niagara Falls State Park. In this presentation, I will start out by pointing out a bunch of clues which link image 3 to Niagara Falls, New York. Then we will match a verse that will lead us right to Luna Island in the state park itself. In the lower left corner of image 3 is the outline of a waterfall with a cross in the middle of it. I think it's Niagara Falls because it's the only waterfall that's famous for people having died at by daredevil acts and suicide. So from here I started looking for other clues that led me to Niagara Falls. From the two previously solved images, I know that the latitude and longitude and the state appeared in the image. I think I have found those. Here's the latitude and longitude of Niagara Falls, New York. I think the 9's upside down on purpose. Nikola Tesla was a huge player in Niagara Falls with the development of AC current. AC current's like a flip-flopping wave of electricity. Therefore, I think the 9's flip-flopped upside down as a reference to AC current and Nikola Tesla. Here's an outline of the state of New York. I think this area of the chest depicts the Niagara River Gorge area. You can see how the maps of the area look identical to his chest plate. Notice the clover leaf on his chest plate is located right where Goat Island is on the gorge area maps. The head of image 3 looks a lot like the head of a goat. Goat Island used to be called Iris Island beforehand. The clover leaf is a symbol of the luck of the Irish. If you take away the H in Irish, all you're left with is Iris, like Iris Island, Goat Island. Again, I think it's just another clue to direct us to the right place, Niagara Falls. Image 3 has a plumb line hanging from his right arm. I feel that's indicating north on a map. The picture on the right here is orientated the same way, so north is at the bottom of the picture. To me, you can see the similarities as Goat Island looks a lot like image 3. The rapids, Three Sisters Islands, the pedestrian bridge, and Green Island all show up in image 3. In image 3, what others believe is to be Roanoke Island, North Carolina, I think is a lot like the shape of this area of the Niagara Falls Gorge. Some of the many Nikola Tesla clues include the positioning of his hand, as you can see in this photograph. This part of the image shows Croatia, which is Nikola Tesla's home country. The pedestal and skirt of image 3 to me look a lot like a Tesla coil. You can see the electricity coming out represented by the skirt. This could be a picture of a Tesla tower. The upper portion of image 3 looks a lot like this drawing of the Sir Adam Beck power station layout. Notice the bridges are aligned alike. Notice the power tunnels can possibly be represented by his arms here. The bubbles in the image look like a cross-cut section of a water turbine. Again, just another picture showing a hydropower plant, and like what I believe the bubbles represent the water turbine part. Here's a good cross-cut representation of the spiral casing. The picture at the bottom here is of the tunnels being built under Niagara, the inlet and outflow tunnels. I believe they're represented in the picture by the man's armored elbows here. I'm convinced image 3 is trying to replicate a hydropower station, with the inlet, the outlet tunnels being the arms, and the man himself being the generating station. To add to my belief that image 3 is a power station, even the power lines, which are the output of any power plant, are represented in the left hand or arm of image 3 by this dangling chain. For all those reasons, I'm convinced image 3 is relating to Niagara Falls. The Goat Island clues, Tesla clues, waterfall clues, hydroelectric power, all related to Niagara Falls. So from here, we need a verse. Verse 1 happens to be a perfect fit to image 3. Let me walk you through it. Alright, the verse starts off, Fortress north, cold as glass, friendship south. Well, 15 miles north of Niagara Falls is Fort Niagara. So there's my fortress north. 15 miles south of Niagara Falls is Crystal Beach. Crystal Beach is known for their crystal clear water, crystal clear like glass, the cold waters of Lake Erie. Also south of Niagara Falls, right near Crystal Beach, is a popular stretch of trailway known as the Friendship Trail. It's a real popular hiking, walking, biking trail that goes across the northern tip of Lake Erie there in Ontario. Halfway between Fort Niagara and Crystal Beach is Niagara Falls. So there's the first 3 lines of our verse. Alright, now we know we're in the right spot, Niagara Falls. Now we need to take our task to the number 982. Alright, after searching and searching for the 982, I finally found it. It comes in the form of a law here, chapter 982 in the book, The Statutes of the United States of America. Basically what it does is grant some immediate transportation privileges to the Port of Niagara. That 982 Port Authority or border crossing happens to fall right into Niagara Falls State Park itself. It's adjacent to the park. So far the verse has got us to Niagara Falls, and it's got us to our starting point in our treasure hunt, which is the 982. So our starting point, the 982, is right here on this right hand side of the park map. Through the wood no lion fears, in the sky the water veers. Green Island, as we walk through the park, used to be home to wood mills. So there's my through the wood. From here we go towards the roar of the falls. No lion fears. So we go towards the falls, the roar of the falls. As you're walking through the park towards the falls, you can't miss the water veering into the sky from the Horseshoe Falls. It rises for hundreds of feet. You can probably see it from anywhere in the park. So far, we have a perfect fit to our verse. The next part of verse 1 goes, small of scale, step across, perspective should not be lost. Now that we're on Goat Island, we need to find our small of scale. Niagara Falls is made up of 3 waterfalls, the largest being the Horseshoe Falls at almost 2,600 feet wide. You got the American Falls, which are almost 1,000 feet wide. The third waterfall is the Bridal Veil Falls. They're significantly smaller at only 56 feet wide. The Bridal Veil Falls are the small of scale. After we step across the Bridal Veil Falls, we are on Luna Island. Now that you're on Luna Island, if you look straight across the American Falls, you can't miss the observation tower in the park, which is perched off of Prospect Point. Perspective should not be lost. Okay, right across the falls from us is Prospect Point. Prospect Point used to be called Point View. My perspective is Prospect Point, straight across from me. I think this part of the verse, number one, is telling me I'm on the right track by it being straight ahead of me after I'm on Luna Island. And I think it's also an indication of to keep things open for the next part of the verse. The observation tower at Niagara Falls looks a lot like image 3. Now that we know the Casque is buried on Luna Island, we just need to find where. Notice the ground on Luna Island. It would have been a great place to bury the Casque. Here's a picture of Luna Island before 2010. In 2010, Luna Island was totally re-landscaped. Moving along in our verse. In the center of four alike, small, split, three winged and slight. Back in when the book was written, there wasn't much on Luna Island other than some trees, a couple rocks, and some tower viewers. I think the four alike mentioned in verse 1 appear in image 3. They're made up of the three bubbles and the watch. All four objects are alike because they're round. All four are small. They're split into two different objects, the bubbles and watch. The three bubbles appear to be floating or flying like they have wings. And the watch possibly can have a reference to the saying sleight of hand. I believe the four alike equal the observation tower and the three tower viewers. They are alike because they share the same name, tower observer or observation tower, basically flip-flopping the words, just like flip-flopping AC current. So what I'm saying is the bubbles equal the tower viewers and the watch equals the observation tower. You can look through the bubbles like you can look through tower viewers. The bubbles even appear to magnify what's behind it, just like tower viewers magnify what you're looking at. The tower viewers and the bubbles you can both look through. The watch you can only look at, like I can only look at the observation tower from Luna Island. Image 3 itself even looks like a tower viewer. Notice the base, a pedestal, the binoculars and the yoke portion, all kind of represented in the image. The tower viewers are even visible in image 3, as represented by the two keys hanging from his arms. The jewel also appears to be in the center of two keys, or two tower viewers. So again, my four alike are the observation tower and then the three tower viewers on Luna Island. Both the tower viewers and the observation tower are considered small compared to the other towers of Niagara Falls, which are basically high-rise buildings, casinos, and hotels. The four towers are split by the American Falls. The three tower viewers are winged on the other side of the American Falls in relation to the observation tower. I believe the three tower viewers on Luna Island are considered slight or insignificant in relation to the other towers of Niagara Falls. I believe the Casque is located somewhere in the center of the four towers, basically which means between tower viewers 2 and 3. What we take to be our strongest tower of delight. That tower is the observation tower. It's our strongest tower. It's made of steel. It's the only tower in Niagara Falls State Park, and it brings delight because you can walk out on the tower viewing platform to view all three falls. Falls gently in December night. What does this mean? Well, if I look up the meaning of December, it means 10. I believe it was originally 10 months in the calendar year. So does this have a reference to something? Possibly 10 degrees from compass north? I don't know. Does it mean we're 10 paces from the center of the two towers? Does it mean that the observation tower falls at 10 o'clock while we're looking straight ahead at point view at our perspective? Not sure. In image 3, I keep looking for what the dent represents in this puzzle. Maybe it's where the Casque is buried on Luna Island. I don't know. Regardless how you translate that part of the verse, I believe it's saying the Casque is somewhere on Luna Island in between towers 2 and 3, indicated by this blue box on the picture. The last 3 lines of the verse, looking back from treasure ground, there's a spout, a whistle sounds. I think this is referring to the Cave of the Winds viewing decks and the Bridal Veil Falls, which are both behind us when we turn around from looking at Prospect Point. The Cave of the Winds, I believe, represents the whistle sounds. There's a spout, is a spout of water, which is the water pouring over the falls. I've been to Luna Island twice searching for the Casque. I received permission in both May of 2019 and October of 2019 from park management to probe the area. Both times the ground was nearly impossible to penetrate the probe into. The newly added rocks and dirt was hard enough to get through. The furthest I got down was to the original ground level, about 2.5 feet down. I would like to return in the spring of 2020 with ground penetrating radar and search the area one more time. That's why I believe Luna Island in Niagara Falls State Park is the correct solution for image 3 verse 1 in Byron Preiss's book The Secret. Let me know what you think.